Let me see.
My name is Trent Sinnett. I run for the National Guard national team. We do mainly the marathon, but I have done an ultra, a 50 miler. My experience with the ultra, which I did my first ultra 2 weeks after I turned 50, and my experience is more the not so much the pace, which you concentrate on the shorter races, but more the distance and the time. And I guess I see the ultras as more of as more as keeping it together, keeping your mind in the game, just keep moving. As more the shorter races like a half marathon or a marathon, I find it more a pace and trying to keep on a pace, knowing I'm going to reach to the end. I just want to keep a certain pace when I get there.
How about the emotions?
Sometimes it's like I don't get a lot of real emotional. I mean, I've run so much in my training and everything. I think it's an intensity, and you got to be willing to hang on to the intensity. Just like you start seeing the pace, and even if you start slipping off, because you've got a pace that yeah, on a fantastic day, that's going to be your finish. But you kind of want to stay on that pace. But even if you start slipping off, you just kind of, I guess, there's not really emotional. It's just kind of like you just push inside yourself and pulling along at that pace.
Do you have any Native American in your background?
I'm half Indian.
Half Indian.
Yeah.
And what is your tribe and area?
Oh, I really don't know that information. I wish I did, but I don't. We're local, probably more to the Midwest Indians.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm from Indiana originally. So half Indian, I'm half Irish. So.
And who did you bring along today?
Chase Duarte. He's a good teammate. And my experience with Chase is he's talked the ultras for a long time, and I respect Chase in the ultras and longevity. He kind of talked to me like before the 50 miler about staying, slowing down and just kind of getting in a comfortable pace, and then I guess you don't talk about the pace so much as you just try to make the distance.
Well, the ultra event typically is anything over a marathon, so you're talking 4+ hours to 8 to 10, 12 hours, even a whole day. So the thing is, you can't just, it's a long day, it's a work day with overtime. So, yeah.
Unpaid.
Right, exactly. So the thing is, an event of a marathon that we're used to running with the marathon team in the 2.5 hour to 3 hour range, you don't need all these extra calories, you don't need this. There's some pain involved, but you're not having to dig really deep mentally for that. So the ultra thing is, I try to tell these guys, just be prepared to, and he talked about the pace, but compartmentalize the distance. Take it in blocks. So 50 milers in essence 2 marathons. So if you're thinking too much about the first 25 and you get to 25 and you've never done a 50 before, you've got a whole marathon left. And my first 50 miler has been, back in '98. And I can remember it vividly. I got to about 26 mile. There was an aid station at 26 miles, which coincidentally is the marathon distance, and my wife was there. And I looked at her, and I broke down in tears. I said, you know what? I got a whole long run of training left to go, and I've never run past 26 miles. So we'd spent a little bit of money and time and effort getting to that place. And I just decided, I can't just drop all that. I just trotted down the trail, dried it up, and I still finished. But it's definitely a different mindset. And Trent, last year, the guard team finally started to get involved with the ultra marathon. So Trent did his first 50 miler at the age of plus 50 last year. So that was great to see. It's a good event for all of us.
Now, you guys are mid-age adults. You're still in the military. And what's the difference between you guys, let's say you were 15 years old, going on like a hike on the weekend at school as buddies, and now later in mid-age with more limited time probably, going on an incredibly long endurance race? What's the difference to you?
Well, I mean, you mentioned the military in there, so I mean, there's a big difference in my mentality. I'm sure Trent would agree with this, but the normal military person, regardless of what branch of the service they're in, has a physical fitness requirement. And 99.9% of your military people are focused on that 2-mile run, being able to do as many sit-ups as they can in 2 minutes or push-ups they can in 2 minutes. I believe that absolutely does not matter to me. That's not what I train for. I mean, you want to drop a PT test on me right now and my foot's messed up from an injury, I'll go max it. I mean, I don't care. We do this for health, for longevity. I think for me, really the spiritual aspect of what I find out in nature and in the mountains. So different from a 15-year-old. I guess there's just, I don't know, they wouldn't have.
You know, sharing time with your buddy, I'm talking about, versus when you were 15 and you had, you know, living with the folks and you're getting away and it's your retreat kind of when you go on your long backpack or your hike with your buddy. And now in your mid-age zone, what's it like being away? You guys are away from home and you're with a buddy and you're doing your thing. What's the difference between that relationship?
Well, I'd say it's a lifestyle now, where then it was just a minor adventure. It's a lifestyle now. I mean, we'd be talking about families
and also we have a history, and we don't coddle each other quite as like kids, you know, because kids you're kind of like it's a new adventure, and most of the things you did back then, you know, it's like new, and I guess it seemed like when I was younger it was always a shorter distance, and you know, we talked about speed. You know, we talked about, you know, getting there in a certain time and everything, and now we still talk somewhat pace, but we can go, well, I feel like this because this is my past experience, and we tend to talk somewhat in the past as to what's going to be the conditions for the race, or what's conditions right now, and how we think it could turn out from the past. And I think because of that history, I mean, we could literally run together and say, hey, look, I think you're going too fast, or I think it's really going to heat up today, and you know, that's been in my experience. Where
are you living currently?
I live in the South Chicago area,
so it's only too hot for you a couple of months of the year.
It was a hot summer, but I've lived between there and Indiana, and I run in the seasons, and I do winter sport. Chase does too. We cross-country ski, and we experience with that, and so it seems like a cross-training of different events. But I'm a seasonal athlete. I train a certain way in the winter, and then in the summer, you know, it just seems to be you got to switch gears as the seasons go along.
Any advice you'd have for your grandkids about endurance and mindset that you'd like to pass on?
I just really, if they're going to do a marathon, I'm just saying, if they're going to do a marathon, I think they need to take it a step-by-step process. It is really hard for a lot of young individuals, and I say young, but in the ultra biz, young's in 20s. You know, because most ultras don't really get their real go at it till in their 30s or 40s. And I would say take a step at it. Maybe don't go for the 100-miler too early on in life. You know, maybe, you know, step it up, see how you feel comfortable into the marathon, and then step it up. And I would just say, you know, there's always, you know, the way to take care of yourself. You got to really take care of yourself. If you're going to ever make it in an ultra field, you got to kind of take care of yourself. You got to cold soak. You got to watch that injury and listen to your body, and really listen to your body. So that's kind of.
Well, Trent, you brought up a good point about when we were younger, we were focused on speed. How fast can I accomplish this trail or this distance? And that's the hugest thing I've noticed just in the last 5 years was once the speed went away and some of the breakdowns that come with getting into your 40s, my focus changed completely to looking at what's around me. And I'm amazed. I've gone over some of the same runs and trails probably 50 to 100 times, and now I'm seeing things I've never seen before. Because it was back when I was younger, it was about how fast can I do this, how little water can I drink, And yeah, I can look back, and those times I'll never reproduce. But who cares? I mean, look what I missed all along. So yeah, that's a good point you brought up about speed really being the difference back then versus now. It's the experience.